The Galactic Council had always considered humans peculiar, not particularly strong by Corinthian standards, not as technologically advanced as the Zephori, and certainly not as numerous as the Hive Collective. They were middling in most metrics, diplomatic when needed, traders when profitable, and surprisingly creative problem solvers. The Council had accepted humanity's application for membership 3 cycles ago, mostly as a curiosity. Ambassador Chen stood in the observation deck of Station Harmony 7, watching her daughter Maya sketch the swirling nebula outside. The 7-year-old hummed a tune from Earth, her crayon moving across the datapad in broad, confident strokes. Chen smiled. This posting was supposed to be safe, a neutral space where 100 species coexisted in careful balance. The Kral delegation had arrived that morning. Warlord Thraken, a mountain of scales and battle scars, led his entourage through the station with the swagger of a species that had conquered 40 systems. The Kral were warriors, pure and simple. They respected strength and despised weakness. Their application to join the Council had been pending for years, blocked repeatedly by species who remembered their brutal expansion. Maya had wandered into the public garden, that open space where Council members' families could meet. She was drawing a flower, a strange bioluminescent thing from Sector 9, when 3 Kral juveniles found her. To them she was an insult, a weak, soft thing, a symbol of everything wrong with the Council's tolerance. The security footage would later show exactly what happened. The largest juvenile, barely into adolescence by Kral standards, had grabbed Maya's datapad. When she protested, he shoved her, hard. She fell, striking her head against a decorative stone. Blood pooled beneath her small frame as the Kral juveniles laughed, their translator chips broadcasting their mockery across 40 languages. The station's AI registered the assault. Medical teams were dispatched. Security protocols activated, but someone else had been watching. Captain Sarah Mitchell had been buying coffee 3 sections away when the alert pinged on her neural implant. She was part of humanity's quiet addition to the Council's security framework, officially an observer, unofficially one of Earth's most decorated Special Forces operators. Her mission was simple: protect human interests, maintain the peace, stay invisible. She accessed the security feed mid-stride, saw Maya fall, saw the blood, saw the laughter. Something ancient and terrible woke behind Mitchell's eyes. The Kral juveniles were still in the garden when she arrived, 30 seconds after the attack. They barely had time to register the human woman's approach before she moved. Her combat skin activated, nanofibers hardening into armor as she crossed the distance. The first juvenile went down with a shattered jaw. The second tried to raise an alarm, but Mitchell's blade found his throat. The third ran. He made it 6 meters. Mitchell's weapon discharged once, a compressed plasma round that burned through scale and bone like paper. Then she was moving again, accessing the station's database, pulling up the Kral delegation's location. Warlord Thraken was in Conference Room Gamma, negotiating trade routes with the Zephori. He had just made a joke about human softness when the doors exploded inward. Mitchell walked through the smoke, her armor scorched but intact. Thraken rose to his full 3-meter height, bellowing challenges in his native tongue. His honor guard moved to intercept. They lasted 4 seconds. The Council security forces arrived to find Mitchell holding Thraken by his throat, the warlord's feet dangling half a meter off the ground. His guards were unconscious or worse. The Zephori delegation had fled. Only the security cameras remained to witness what happened next. Your children, Mitchell said, her voice cold enough to freeze hydrogen, attacked a human child. Thraken snarled something defiant. His claws raked across her armor, leaving sparks but no damage. Mitchell's grip tightened. We told you what would happen. We wrote it into our membership contract. Section 47, subsection C, humanity considers attacks on children, any children, to be an act of war. The warlord's eyes widened. He'd assumed it was metaphor, the kind of diplomatic posturing all species engaged in. Mitchell's blade emerged from her forearm mount. You should have read the fine print. What happened next took 8 seconds. The security footage would be classified for decades, shown only to species considering hostile action against human interests. When Ambassador Chen arrived at the council chamber 10 minutes after the attack on her daughter, she found the assembled representatives in stunned silence. Warlord Thraken's head hung from the central chandelier, suspended by molecular wire. Blood dripped onto the marble floor in a steady rhythm. Captain Mitchell stood below it, her armor retracting, revealing the woman beneath. Her hands were steady. Her eyes were not. "My daughter?" Chen asked. "In medical. Concussion, but stable." Mitchell's voice cracked slightly. "I'm sorry I wasn't faster." The Council's High Arbiter, an ancient Velcrosian who had mediated wars for 3 centuries, cleared his throat. "Captain Mitchell, you have violated 17 protocols, killed a diplomatic envoy, and—" "Read Section 47, Chen interrupted, her diplomat's mask firmly in place despite her shaking hands. "Subsection C. My government will stand behind Captain Mitchell's actions completely." The Arbiter pulled up the document. His eye stalks drooped as he read. The clause was clear, unambiguous, and apparently non-negotiable. Humanity had warned them. Everyone had assumed it was bluster. "The Krull Empire will demand retribution," the Arbiter said quietly. Mitchell finally looked up from her hands. "Let them come." Within hours, 40 human warships dropped out of FTL at the system's edge. They hadn't been summoned. They were already in position, waiting. Humanity had always planned for this contingency. The message they broadcast was simple. We told you. We warned you. We meant every word. The Krull Empire considered their options. They looked at the humans' military deployment, ran probability matrices, consulted their war computers. Then they looked at Thracken's head, still dripping in the council chamber, and made a choice that would reshape galactic politics. They apologized. 3 cycles later, attacks on human children, or any children in human-protected space, had dropped to 0. The Galactic Council updated its protocols, and every species that joined thereafter received a briefing on human nature that always ended the same way. They seem soft. They seem weak. They will negotiate, trade, and cooperate. But understand this. There are lines they will not allow you to cross, and you will only learn where those lines are once. After that, there are only consequences. Maya Chen recovered fully. She still draws in that garden. Though now there's always a quiet figure in combat armor watching from the shadows, just in case, because humanity had learned long ago. You can forgive many things, negotiate almost anything, and compromise on countless points. But not when it comes to children. Never when it comes to children.